households be allowed. Wow. The important thing is that the first stage has been reached today, where we've got a little bit of freedom from COVID, a little bit of freedom indeed, because whenever this has been promised in the past, and we've almost got there, for some reason the government has had to, or has reneged, and we've been back where we started from. But today, up to 6 people and 2 households can get together. You can go outside. Don't hug, don't kiss, keep your social distancing. You have to be careful. The government does urge you to stay at home, but nonetheless, a lifting of a little bit of the restrictions that we've been under lockdown. So we can move around a little bit. We can get together. And how wonderful that we can do this, because although on the surface it looked as if there was normality, ghost towns were the norm. Told you, nothing goes right on a Monday morning.
Hello and welcome to Mirador Television. We are the biggest little TV in the world, based in Lewes, East Sussex in England. Our aim is to entertain and to spice things up a little. We will also keep an eye on the local politics, because let's face it, someone has to. Our programs range from stories about the local people to stories about people from all the way across the pond. Brought to you by our wonderful colleagues in New York. So why not sit back, relax with your favourite cuppa, or maybe your favourite tipple, and enjoy. This is Mirador Television.
It just doesn't. It has a headache every Monday morning. No matter. I came in and I sang to it over the weekend. I sang to the system, and I said, "Here is a fine, fine serenade, just so that you'll wake up in a good mood on Monday morning." Has it? No, not a bit of it. Not a bit of it. But nonetheless, let's do this again just for a moment, because we should be joyous. We should indeed. Yes. Let the bells ring, because we've reached the first stage of a lockup, as I call it, or the end to lockdown. Just a caution: we've been here before, and I think that the bells can ring because we've reached Monday morning, the 29th of March, the day that they get out of lockdown, for at least in one small step, but we have reached it. But be cautious, because the government is saying, don't go hugging and kissing. Keep social distancing. And if you can possibly stay at home, God only knows how many people want to get out, but if you can stay at home, do so, because we haven't conquered this beast yet. And along this coast, Brighton, Eastbourne, and even Lewis, even though we are relatively low and we are in relatively good shape, there has been an increase over the last few days of cases of coronavirus. I had my jab on Saturday morning, and there was a steady stream of people getting their second jab, and so people are playing ball by the vaccine in the main. But nonetheless, we can't just take our foot off the accelerator. Let's ease into what we can now see as freedom and a bright future. In June, we should be able to go back to the pubs. We should be able to go to any shop we want. The whole place should be opening up, but only if we use caution and sensible application of what we've got now. What can we do? People are allowed to meet outside, right? In private gardens, in groups of up to 6, 2 households with social distancing, but nonetheless they can meet and they can get together. I don't think that you can mix and mash on this. I think that the 2 households are that basically you select the other household that's close to you, and that's the household you can mix with. You can't mix with one household today and another tomorrow and another tomorrow after that. I don't think that's what. I think you can select a household, for instance, relatives, one match with them more than you have been able to up to now. Outdoor sports facilities will reopen. Basketball court and outdoor. Whether that will mean the Pell's pool will open up or not, I don't know. It's not so up some of these things just on an edict, but at least we got the opportunity to go to those places. And formally organized outdoor sports can restart. So I suppose what they're saying is a kickabout in the street. No, but if you belong to a team or a sports club, you can start to play again. Nothing about audiences there. I don't know whether back into the stadium or not. I know that it's on the cards, but whether that is from today or not, I'm not sure. We'll have to take a look at that. Again, the churches can and the various offices, what do they call them, registry offices, can perform weddings, but you still can only have 6 people there. It's there's still, but nonetheless, we have started on a path out of lockdown. There are 1 or 2 other disturbing headlines, I think, really have to the world is not a nice place still. There was a Madagascar. There was a bit of a massacre, not a bit of a massacre. It was a nasty massacre. Uh, but the variants are on the march still. We have to worry about that. The economy could regain lost ground. Well, for somebody like me, 2 years is just 2 years. You get used to the fact that you motor on and then suddenly you achieve things. But to young people, I would imagine that 2 years sounds like a hell of a lot. Year old will be 13 and 21 and so on. So we care about just how we treat this thing. Um, let's there are all sorts of climate change. The fight between and Nicola Sturgeon goes on in the north, and the pundits are saying that she shot herself in the foot by taking Salmond on because he's formed a new party, and is then in her own party. Then her party would not be the controlling party, and she wouldn't be in charge. Oh dear, dear, dear. Um, this silly nonsense in trying um, to stop the vaccine being exported has just gone too far. But it would appear that Macron, the president of France, who has been leading the charge of saying we'll take over the factories, we're going to stop them, and so on and so forth, has lost ground with his own people, and that now there is a serious challenge to his leadership. So you have to be very careful. Brits living in Spain may be forced to return. Combination of Brexit and means that all sorts of restrictions they abandon their homes back and live here. They never anticipated, I'm sure, when they actually took out their mortgages on their Spanish houses. The ISIS ambush, it's at least one Brit, and there are 40 expats missing. The ISIS dissidents, the extremists, attacked. It was sort of a hotel, but for workers, not for tourists. And they then attacked a convoy that was leaving escape from assault on the hotel or on the lodgings, and they nobody knows what's happened to the people there, except that 40 expats from are missing. So nasty things happening in Africa again. The good news is that COVID deaths have slowed down considerably, and they continue to slow. And let's hope that that's a trend that is going to be followed carefully. Has been the ship in the Suez Canal. It blocked the canal. Some ground coming through the canal, and no ships could go one way or the other, and that meant that they all had to anchor in the bay outside. It's a wonderful feat of engineering. But also, it's supply line to find some of the things in the shops are missing a little bit. It's got nothing to do with the fact that a ship's captain allowed his ship to hit the bank, get stuck. So no other. So they've all been waiting, but now the ship has been moved, and the goods can get through through the. Um, uh, I think that's probably enough on the national scene. We've got to keep. Let's take a look at. Well, I, that's not what I had planned to show, but nonetheless, that's our little um, ironic. And here's what we're able to do right now. Now, there's so much happening, and I'm sorry, it is just so slow. It's got a headache, and there's so much happening regarding freedom that we're all over the place. So you'll be seeing bits and pieces that we met, seeing bits and pieces, and so on. But I hope wanted to show you. No, it wasn't. These things keep disappearing. We'll try hard. What I did want to show you was a picture of Lewis District Council headquarters over, because sources close to the council, and we don't reveal our sources when we get information that hasn't been made public yet. But and whether it's political or whether it was from the executive. But it is said by those who that it will be announced later this week that the council Southover, the suite of offices that they've got. In my time here, they've switched to Southover. Sorry, not Southover. House. They premises nowhere near as nice, but nonetheless fun. Just below on Southover, and now to be sold. Only a whisper. Let me tell you in your ear bit. So we assume that it is correct, and watch out for such an announcement later in the week. And if in fact we're and we don't think we are, of course, come and tell you that we're wrong, or the council can make their own announcement. But why? The whisper doesn't give us that money, gives us the fact that the thing is going to be sold. And the other source is some senior plan the company. People believe any enterprise, all that, except that there has been quite an exodus of senior people from Lewis. That actually slows everything down. And it does mean there are more and more people in Eastbourne making decisions about Lewis. So I hope that will be redressed. Is Lewis must come back to and not be governed by Lewis Council, not by Eastbourne. It's a district council. It may seem only two words to you, but Lewis is a very tight, borough. I mean, it's a seaside area, and it is a town. It's a borough, whereas Lewis is spread Hell's half acre, and is a lot of rural communities and several towns all bound together under one administration. So how the two can be administered together, I have no idea, and it hasn't worked. And so these are some of the consequences, and it's a great pity. We'll keep your eye open on that because, well, will it make a material difference to us? Well, yeah, it could. It could. I mean, where is the administrative centre going to be? Because if I want to go down and complain, I'm damned if I'm going to get onto a train and go all the way down to shake my stick at an Eastbourne door. So whatever the plans call for, I hope that we are not going Lewis governance sent off to Eastbourne. That would be and it would be counterproductive to anything that we're doing here. But let's not speculate. Let's not guess. All we've got the whisper of those two things: senior staff leaving, and the council offices will soon be put up for sale. It counts. So let's keep an eye. I think we'd be better off at the moment to let you know who we are, because at least this one is played. Let's see if we can get something right this week. Oh no, it's not going to. It's not going to play ball at all. And that's an old picture. If you could hear me, yes. But well chuckle. He may well chuckle. it's, it's oh dear, the system is all over the place, and really, it's not once. It's nothing to do with me. I'm perfectly capable of cocking absolutely everything up. But this morning I'm not. I'm pressing all the wrong buttons, but all the wrong things are coming up. And it's because of a delay in the system. And nine times out of 10, it means that you have to disassemble the little box, the router. But I can't do that in the middle of a broadcast. But that little man laughing there is undoubtedly laughing at the pickle we're in this morning. But just to tell you that today is going to be a mixed cloud up, and then from noon until 6 o'clock, there should be a really good spell of sunshine. And we are heading towards tomorrow and Wednesday are forecast for temperatures reaching, in some parts of the country, 24. In Lewis region, about 9. Even so, that is not a bad temperature to reach, and it should. Excuse me. Oh, yeah. Nobody else in the office, so we don't have to worry about whether I'm spreading any COVID stuff. And anyway, I've had 2 jabs. But we are going to get some unseasonably warm weather for a couple of days, which is going to be very welcome. And suddenly we'll be in sweltering summer, and then it's going to disappear again towards the end of the week. Woo. But when people can get together, the nice weather tomorrow and the day after should be welcome relief, but just don't get fooled by it. It's easy to bask in the sun and think, well, it's going to last like this forever. So don't rush up and start to hug everybody. I'm as anxious to hug sort of beautiful ladies that I know and so on as anybody else. But I have to be very careful and very temperate about this. It's not that my affection for them is any the less, but nonetheless, I have to be careful, and you have to be careful. So be careful whether it's your grandchild or whether it's your husband or your girlfriend or whatever, or boyfriend for that matter. Be very careful because it is. We're not ready for that yet. We are ready for some relaxation. 6 people can get together now. 2 family households can get together. We can actually, although we are urged by the government not to leave home for too much, but we can go out, and you're not going to be nicked by a copper. So things are getting better, and I think that we really should rejoice as much as we possibly can. And this is what you can do. You can go out and walk around. You don't necessarily have to have any purpose. So advances all the way around. It's but my computer hasn't caught up to the mainstream yet. It says it's 2 minutes past 7, which is a bit frightening because we shouldn't even be on the air. It's obviously 2 minutes past 8. I hope those of you who forgot to change their clocks over the weekend change them now, because otherwise you'll be either late in work or late to wherever you're going to go. But it is helpful that we now coming out of lockdown, and because it's just the turn of the hour, apart from rule of 6, the ship that was wedged in the Suez Canal has been loosened, refloated, and other boats are now able to pass it. So we should start to get things back into the shops that we might miss for a few days. And it's only temporary because no other ships could get out from, I guess it's the Indian Ocean, to come through with their various goods and wares tucked on board. They were sitting on the other side of Africa when they should have been in the shops here. But also talking about Africa, in Madagascar, there has been an ISIS ambush. One Brit killed and 40 expats. Now, expats aren't all necessarily British, but there was an ISIS ambush. Extremists who attacked and were a scourge a year or two ago. In fact, in Africa, they were a real scourge, and they were kidnapping whole schools of their students, and all sorts of atrocities. But anyway, they've become resurgent in this part of Africa. They've attacked a sort of it's just a hotel that is for workers. It wasn't tourists, but there are many missing. And the convoy that was trying to escape from them was attacked by them. And that's where a lot of the information at the moment isn't known because they were on the move and violently, well, overcome, I suppose is the word. What else have we got? The fight in Europe continues to go on about whether we should get supplies of the vaccine or not. And of course, the thing is that if the EU are successful, and they have threatened, or at least Macron has threatened the French president to take over some of these factories to make sure that this stuff can't go down. But at the moment, it's really for over 70s who want it, been offered it, on to other age groups and other vulnerable groups. The program is going extremely well. And the polls, what they're worth, the political polls, have actually given Boris a boost, because even though it's up an awful lot to do with the COVID shutdown, they have shown good judgment and good efficiency when it comes to actually getting everybody vaccinated. I've had my 2 now, and can I just say that apart from not wanting to do very much yesterday, which is a Sunday anyway, which is good, and I had my jab on Saturday. It does bring a little bit of lethargy. I didn't have a headache. I didn't have any bad effects at all as far as physical stuff is concerned, except just wanting to be lazy. And I'm perfectly happy. Mine was AstraZeneca, the one that is blood clots, although they backed off from all over the world. The United States has given it a clear bill of health. It's okay. So I wouldn't worry about it if I was you. I would go and get the vaccine and protect yourself against the bug. And being ill from it is far worse than on a vaccine. All right, so that's where we are now. One of the things that I got a lovely email from a Louisian, an ex-Louisian, who was very, very well known around town. He was a driver. He's been a driver in all sorts of things, and in the real sense of the word, because he helped in 2016 to bring back the Firle Hill climb. Lloyd Thomas in town. And well, I'm not sure that he's actually back here, but he's back in the UK. And if everything goes to plan, then there will be an attempt to bring back the Firle Hill climb. Hill climb, you may say. Well, it goes back in the 30s. Time trials with cars. It's become really a hill climb, and it brings out the best in design and so on. So take a look at the movie Gun Hill Studios. And, a very, very nice occasion, and brings back some of the glory that we've now lost for the sake of utilitarian. But Rupert Lloyd Thomas is responsible for bringing this back to us, and hopefully he will bring it back again after a 2-year lapse because of COVID for later on this year. So there we are. I mean, it's wonderful to see those. Great day, a lovely day out, and it's just skirts of Lewis, no more than a mile. The village of Firle, which is beautiful. Not much has changed since the manor was granted medieval England. Hasn't been able to go because of the COVID situation. Hopes to bring that in all its glory. The one other thing that Rupert said in his message to me is he's not used to those solutions, but there is a journalist of some note. He was always a local journalist. He never did the national, and is feeling the now a bit old. He's not very well, but Rupert said, he welcomes those people who would know him. Talking about John, such a leader in the news, create local news coverage. We don't have it anymore, and it's got to come back. Nick Symes does his best with Lewis President. We do our best, but we're not geared for to be a news station. To you, but there is no news station. Just tries to do a good job. Lewis, and that's far too heavy a burden for just one guy. So the days that were the glory days, if you like, is John, the name many, a standard bearer, everybody. Then the offices of the Sussex Express were on School Hill. becoming not feeling terribly well, but does, like all of us, want to speak to people. So if you know John, give him a bell, chat, because if there's anybody deserving from a news point of view and keeping us informed, it was John Eccles. A character and a half, a bit like me, curmudgeonly. Not everybody's okay. We don't mind that. Well, I hope people don't mind. Those of us who are mouthy and you do a lot of yelling and shouting and so on. So well, we can't be ordinary people, can we? Because otherwise we would have people yelling and screaming in the streets. Most people are very modest and don't vent their opinions in public. Unfortunately, I'm not one of them. John wasn't one of them. There are other people, Piers Morgan, who comes from local stock, there was one of them. There are those of us who believe that if we can yell, it doesn't matter what we yell. Opinion. We've gone to sleep as a nation. Care, we've been fat and sassy. And whenever that situation arises, people just lapse into letting anything happen. But the bad guys, they don't go to want to take over and take away our freedoms. They don't go. They wait for us to get to be fat and sassy, and it's only people like and Eccles, Morgan, yelling the odds that make people angry enough to say, "I don't agree with that at all. I think." Make sure that if you want the life that we had, that you work hard to get it back. Because no longer are people willing to just shoulder the burden and bring. So that's what we're all about, and that's what John Eccles was all about. So anyway, thanks, Rupert Lloyd Thomas. I hope you bring back the film Hill Climb, and I hope that John Eccles, of calls and chats from those people who knew him, sat at the bar with him, have swapped stories with him, and have been grateful for the hard work he did as a local for over a lifetime career. So he must have done it for us, and for that we must be grateful. 16 on the 20th of March. Soon we'll be into April, and soon, as of today, easy lockdown. And just to remind you what you can do, what you can't. The rule of six applies, but you can get 6 people. Should still be maintained. Don't go rushing in. 2 households, but I think they have to be designated. Now get together. You can have a tea in your garden with somebody else, and generally speaking, you can go out and mingle a little bit where you had gone before. It doesn't mean huddling into groups. What it does mean is that the copper isn't going to put his hand on your shoulder and nick you for being out without good reason. So those that again, you can go and play golf, you can go and swim, sport. Next month, hopefully, if everything keeps going, then we'll be okay. But there are 2 are with anything to do with COVID because it is a very, very clever bug. First of all, the rate of infection has risen slightly in the various towns along Brighton, Lewes, Eastbourne, along with. If you do it in percentage terms, it's a big rise. If you actually do it in actual numbers, it's going from a low base. But do be careful. Don't add to the infections, because if we want to see total lock up, as I call it, by June, we need to observe the rules. And I know that's difficult, but do it. Get your jab if you're ready for the jab. It was the AstraZeneca jab. controversial one. Doesn't bother me in the least. It's been given a clean bill of health, except by some of the rather people in Europe, such as President Macron of France, who is totally ignoring his erstwhile pal Angela Merkel, who has been right behind, trying hard to keep the flow of the virus, not the virus, the vaccine. So do try very hard, try your hard to observe the rules to bring us all into. Why don't you take a look at the weather? Why not? Now, just adding to that is tomorrow, and should be hot. It should be unseasonably hot, and undoubtedly it's going to bring us all out onto the streets once again. It's going to go chilly again, so do be careful. Cloud is out, as they say. Also, even though it's scattered cloud, reliable way of telling what it is by looking through the window is yes, it's scattered cloud at the moment. There's blue sky above it. It's quite pleasant, and my tree waving in the breeze. But what we can expect, with any luck, is from noon until about 6 o'clock is cloudless skies, and we can expect a bout of sunshine. So do be prepared for a nice little bout of weather, but don't let it dull your senses so you become. 22 minutes past. I always forget. I really should. Well, that I would want to be very careful that we don't ignore the bits and pieces that we get in that are from an informed source. So this is from an informed source, and that is that the council offices may. That's the word, as it were. It's not the word on the street; it's the word on confidant, and we will be interested to hear what the council has to say to that. And since we've broken the news, we're not a news breaking organisation. We bring you information that we get as best. We're just not big enough to be a proper news organisation, but we do have our ears to the ground. So if the council want to deny it, they know how to get in touch with us. There's no problem at all. The other thing is that there is still this disturbing exodus of people from the staff, and one of the things, for instance, and this is I understand from the planning department that it slows everything down and causes. One of the biggest closure is now it's well over 400 days that the council have not paid the to the Charities Commission on properties that they handle. The one, the cricket ground down near the dripping pan, and the other is it's a park anyway. Is run as two charitable functions in the care of Lewis Council, Lewis District Council, and it means that each individual member of the council is partly responsible for the money ain't been paid. The problem is that if we start to be fined for that, of course, then it's tax money that could be spent to the fine. Anyway, a few things that give rise if some of these things are true, and let us know. I was going to say thank you to people, weren't I? Let's do it. Oh dear. Deary. Oh, nothing is going right this morning. Nothing at all.
When you've missed the train, don't despair. Have a nice cup of coffee. And perhaps a mince pie. At the Runaway on Lewis Station. After that, why worry about the next train? The Runaway on Lewis Station. Relaxation beyond compare.
Well, that's supposed to be me. What happened? There we are. As I say, everything has got a headache this morning. And in fact, in fairness to the equipment, it does need an MOT. And now that we're coming out of lockdown, we'll be able to get Dan, our faithful IT man, back in to take a look at everything and make sure that everything's plugged in. And we also need a cleaning lady to come in and tidy up a bit. It's not bad as far as studios go, but it hasn't been attended to. So we're all ready to get launched on April the 6th. We were going to do it on April the 1st, with no point, because 2nd and 3rd and 4th and 5th are all holidays or the weekend, and that would be a waste of time. So our new launch date for our new schedule, Mirador Television, and we never close. We never shut our doors. We never locked up. We kept going throughout the COVID period, for which we seem to have been penalised left, right, and centre. But anyway, we intend to keep going one way or another, and we'll bring you what we can. But we do at 7:29. I've just got time to show you something we like to think. We just tweak the tale of the local council with a bit of satire. Well, that's it. It's 8:30. Time for us to go. Time for us to shut up. But we will be back throughout the day with spot information if we get it. And so just watch. In fact, if you subscribe to us, I think that your phone will ping when we go on the air. But we're still in a period of just putting things together, and hopefully when you join us this time next week, well, in fact, this time next week will be a holiday, and let's hope it's a nice holiday. When you join us this time next week, tomorrow, that we will have tidied up, we'll have shaken ourselves down from having been locked away like the rest of you, and that we start to bring back some interesting programs that you were enjoying before lockdown, and hopefully they'll be back to keep you informed and enjoyable. 2 minutes over this morning. Tut, 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 tut. How dreadful. Even so, I'm going to let everybody know who doesn't know about us who we are. I'm still here. Yeah, not supposed to be. Toodle pip. And we'll see you tomorrow. I think we're going to have to end on this because once again, it ain't working. Never mind. Bye.